It's the evening before the solo twin race, and it's time to be looking at what potential routing might we have to take depending on the various courses. And I want to show you some of the ways that we make these determinations. What's important is what's the wind strength, what's the wind direction, and how fast is the boat at different wind speeds and wind directions. So let me just take you through some of these components and show you how the computer can help us make decisions about what we want to do. So here's the iPad that I'm using for doing my routing. And as you can see, this is Narragansett Bay and Newport. And down here is Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, and Buzzards Bay. And we expect the course to be from Newport, following this yellow line down to the southwest corner of Buzzards Bay, over close to Martha's Vineyard, back to Buzzards Bay, and then into Newport. About 110, 112 mile course as the crow flies. So we plug into the computer what's called our polar analysis of the boat. So here's the different wind angles. Imagine this is the bow pointing forward and the stern. So here a wind angle of 60 degrees, and at a certain wind strength here it's 20 knots. At 60 degrees, we can determine how fast the boat would go. And at 60 degrees, the boat would be going about 8 knots. So as you can see, there's all these different wind angles, and then we have all these different wind speeds. The computer has this information, and now what we do is we download something called a grid file, which contains the predicted weather over time. And it'll have wind strengths at different positions and the wind angles. So I've now loaded the wind and the polar information into the software, and I select routing to create a routing, and my start and arrival, I'm using a pathway for course A, if it will take it. And now I can ask the computer, calculate the routing, and watch what's happening. So it's now making all its calculations of where the various, what's called isochrones at different times, where I will be if I sail in different directions. And now, hey presto, we have a projected course. And the way this is calculating is we'll sail down here, we have to tack over, the wind's coming in at this angle, we sail down, we tack over, we go around Block Island. We have to then head downwind with our big spinnaker up, jibe across to the turning mark. Then we'll come up against the wind, we'll tack out, head back to the mark, and then to the finish line. Then part of the information that's given is what is the wind speed going to be at the different positions we are on the course over time. So you can see it's starting off very light, maybe 5 knots of wind, heading up to intermediate 14 knots, where it's going to be sustained. We can also look at other items, for example, speed through the water. And we'll start off very slow, and then we'll grow up to maybe 11 knots of boat speed. And then this is as we're going downwind where we can be quite fast. Then we have to come towards the wind, we'll slow down. Then as we're sailing for home, we'll be speeding up as we're going downwind again. With this type of information, we're able to make predictions. It also allows us to determine what different sails we're going to want to use. And so before Alex and I disembark tomorrow, we'll have the whole game plan set, we'll have the sails ready, and then the start will happen. And we'll probably find the wind's totally different, but it gives us a game plan, and we'll also have a plan B and a plan C and even a plan D. Wish us luck. We're looking forward to the race.